Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава нації!
Смерть ворогам!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Героям України тричі!
Слава! Слава! Слава!
Ворогам України тричі!
Смерть! Смерть! Смерть!
My friends, I would like to start today by mentioning a very important thing that's going on right now in Georgia, where the people are standing up against their Russian-controlled puppet regime, where the people know that their future is in their hands, and their actions determine that future in the closest way. That is something that we need to understand. That if people act, if people do something, things will change, things will improve. But if people do nothing, if people only wait for something to happen, for somebody else to come and save them, then nothing will change. They'll remain in the same spot their whole life, and nothing will ever change. The prince on the white horse will never show up. I want to mention this, my friends, as a sign of respect to the people of Georgia, who know what Russia is, who know how genocidal it can be, who know what Russia does. Because they have done it in Ukraine, and they have done it in Georgia before Ukraine. That's right. In 2008, Russia has invaded Abkhazia and South Ossetia, declaring that the evil Georgian government was trying to invade them. And they decided that they would occupy Abkhazia and South Ossetia, which is where Russian troops are even now as we speak. All the way from 2008. Now, for the people who know how Russia behaves, there might be a sense of deja vu in the air. Russia keeps its troops in Transnistria, in Moldova, a region that is not recognized by anyone. Russia keeps its troops in Abkhazia and South Ossetia, in Georgia, in regions that are not recognized by anyone. Russia keeps its troops in Ukraine, in the Donbass, in Crimea, and in their land bridge between the two. Again, an entity not recognized by anybody. Although, not even the Russians recognize it now. Now they claim it's their land. Russia has no borders. That's what Putin says. That's one of his most popular, most famous, or rather infamous sayings. Russia has no borders. What could that mean, my friends? Does that mean that Russia is so liberal that it allows anybody to come in? No. It means Russia is an expansionistic regime, a terrorist regime that will continue to expand no matter what until it is stopped. That is the real end of the Russian borders. When real resistance can be formed, when real power is shown to the Russian terrorist regime, and they know that they cannot beat it, that is the only way to stop them. That is the only way to shape these Russian borders that Russia itself does not seem to believe in. They've claimed that the Ukrainians were Nazis. They claimed that the Baltic states were Nazis. Anybody who does not agree with them is a Nazi according to the Russian terrorist regime, and yet it is their president, the one who openly shills for real Nazis, for actual Nazis, for the Nazi, for Adolf Hitler himself. If you don't think so, I'd invite you to check the so-called interview of Tucker Carlson to Putin at the 14-minute mark, when Putin claims that it was in fact Poland who provoked the poor, innocent, prosecuted Germans, the poor, innocent, prosecuted Nazis, to attack them, because supposedly they had overextended. Now, the truth of the matter is, my friends, back in those days, a lot of different countries in Europe were at war with each other, but no one has brought genocide to such a level of absolute inhumanity as Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union. Those were the absolute worst entities that existed back then. And we've all heard this song and dance before. Oh, what about the US? What about Great Britain? My friends, no country is perfect. No country is flawless. No person is perfect or flawless. But there are people who might steal your lunch, and there are people who might murder you in your sleep. I think there's a slight difference between those two things, maybe just a slight one. I jest, of course, but the difference should be clear, my friends. The issues in the West are nothing compared to the issues of modern-day Russia. And they know this. They know this very well. This is why every single time that someone in the West becomes ostracized for whatever reason, usually because of pedophilia allegations or rape allegations, and they go to Russia. And what happens in Russia? In Russia, they welcome them with open arms. They say, you are one of us now. That evil West. Oh, we can't be like them. We need to allow these pedophiles to be one of us. That's what the Russians say, my friends. That's what they always like to say. Individuals like Steven Seagal, Gerard Depardieu, and many others who have had these allegations in the West. Scott Ritter is a good one. You know, our good friend, Alex the fella, has even challenged Scott Ritter to a fight. And he posted a hilarious little poster saying, Alex the fella versus Scott the pedo. It's a very good one. But my friends, we joke around here sometimes about these things, but this is no joke. The Russians accept the scum of humanity to be part of them, to fight for them, to shill for them. The worst of the worst go to Russia when they have no other place to go. The worst of the worst are employed by Russia in their army. You know, as Yura said a while ago, they've been employing rapists, murderers, pedophiles in their Storm Z battalions, in the Wagner group. And they continue to do so right now. They're trying to clear their jails from all the scum by grabbing them all and sending them to Ukraine. Now we see the funny side. So the good, honest Russians, with an army of criminals at their back, and with a full government of criminals leading them, are trying to spread their just ways to evil Ukraine, to evil Nazi Ukraine with a Jewish president. I mean, it makes sense, truly, if you simply turn off your brain or do a lobotomy. Then it makes all the sense in the world. But my friends, that is exactly why we are here. Because these arguments are stupid. They make no sense. The Russian terrorist regime has no good points to give, and yet it is good at propaganda. And if you are good in propaganda, you can spin even the stupidest point in the world in a way that it might look palatable to some individuals, to the uninformed individuals, perhaps to those with mental issues who don't know what's going on around them in the world. Those people is what Russia targets. And you may find in all of these pro-Russian rallies that we've attended, that we've counter-protested against, those people are their foot soldiers. And it's very sad, truly. It's very sad when they send people with actual mental issues to do their bidding. When they cannot send someone who can make a coherent point, because they don't have anyone. That's why it's so important that we are here, my friends, to inform the world, to show the world that these individuals have nothing to bring to the table. That's why we need to know what we are talking about always. That's why we need to face our position head on, every single time, unafraid of whatever they may say. Because this is a free country, where people should not be afraid for what they are saying. where people have the right to speak their own opinions, to speak their truth, to bring their truth to the world, and to see if other people might have something else to say about that. But in Russia, my friends, in Russia this does not exist. That is what we are here for, to tell people what they don't know, to remind people of what they have forgotten, to wake people up so that they are not murdered in their sleep. World, wake up!
World, wake up!
World,